so much going on in the world of the NBA, the playoffs, but I feel like the most noise coming out of the playoffs are a team that's not in the playoffs. And we're joined out in studio by Tania Ganguli, the LA Times beat reporter for the LA Lakers. And also my former beat reporter when I was with the Jacksonville Jaguars as well. So she knows her football.
How long ago? That was like almost 10 years ago now?
That was a long time. This was 2010. Yes, the years right before the lockout. But you know, Tania, you've now covered the Lakers now. You've just finished your third season, going on year 4. First of all, when you first took this job, did you expect it to be this much, I wouldn't say call it chaos, but this much news coming out every single day?
No, I don't think anyone did. I asked someone the other day, is this how it's always been? And they're like, no. Like, they used to be a team that no matter what the drama was in the offseason, they would win.
Right.
And so that's what's really different about this team. And that's part of why all this drama is happening, because if the Lakers were winning and they were in the playoffs, there would be a level of insulation for them. And that's just not there right now because everyone is very concerned about when this team is going to get back to being the Lakers again.
Well, yeah, there's 6 straight seasons of no playoffs, right? And then all the news that's just been coming out, whether it's obviously the Magic Johnson news of stepping down right before the season ended. And then we've been waiting to hear from the Los Angeles Lakers, whoever that may be, whether it's Jeannie Buss, who's the owner, or the general manager and Rob Pelinka. We wanted answers. And so this Saturday, as I was still in mourning from my Warriors losing to the Rockets on last Saturday, there was The Shop on HBO. And LeBron James was going to have his kind of first comments about the situation with Magic. I know the people at HBO contacted you as something that you need to watch. What did you think first of LeBron basically telling us kind of what kind of transpired with Magic Johnson stepping down?
Yeah, he seemed hurt. It almost seemed like he felt betrayed by how that went down because they filmed this episode on April 11th, so it was just 2 days after Magic had done this, and Magic didn't talk to anyone in the locker room when he did it. He talked to us. He did a press conference for about 30, 45 minutes, and then he started to walk out of the building, and I caught up with him again after that and had some follow-up questions, but then he walked out of the building, so he never took time to tell LeBron. And that, I think, was what LeBron was saying on The Shop is he was like, he didn't even call to say, like, I'm out.
Right.
Like, kiss my butt, I'm out. That it's like he didn't even do that. And it seemed like that really bothered LeBron, at least 2 days after it happened.
LA Times Lakers beat reporter Tania Ganguli joining the Rich Eisen show. Kirk Morrison here filling in for Rich. But, Tania, we've just been waiting for someone within the Lakers organization to speak up.
So have I.
Like, tell us what's going on. I know it's frustrating for fans and analysts like myself, but you follow this team, you cover this team. I know you've got questions, but who's supposed to be answering these questions for what's going on in Lakerland?
Yeah, I am able to get answers through sources and through people who are willing to speak anonymously, but you're right, they haven't really come forward. Somebody in the organization hasn't come forward and said, it's going to be Rob Pelinka, he's going to be running the front office, this is what the plan is going forward. And I think at a time when there's so much instability, they really needed that.
So first it was Juwan Howard, possibly Jason Kidd, and Monty Williams was the big name that the Lakers gave a second interview to. And then obviously Ty Lue, and we understand the connections between Ty Lue, former Laker, obviously coached LeBron to a championship in Cleveland. But to get that news yesterday, though, Tania, that these two just walked away from the table, like it was disrespectful of an offer that Ty Lue felt that he received from the Lakers. Like, where do the Lakers go from here right now in their coaching search?
Yeah, it was really weird yesterday because I think right before I got the call that the Lakers were moving on, I had also heard that Ty had just kind of thrown up his hands with it, but that he also expected that a deal would happen. So I think there were a lot of really surprised people. The Lakers are interviewing Frank Vogel today. They're probably going to be interviewing Mike Woodson tomorrow or maybe into the weekend. And then they're also interested in Lionel Hollins. And they're still thinking about Jason Kidd and Juwan Howard. Jason Kidd wasn't really that serious of a candidate going in, but it sounds like he impressed them in his interview and that they're really giving him a second thought.
But my big thing is Monty Williams got the second interview, right? Ty Lue got the second interview. Did the Lakers not offer the job to Monty Williams, or
They did not.
Monty Williams basically just walked away and just took the Phoenix Suns
Yes.
job without even waiting for a Lakers offer?
Well, they hadn't communicated with him or Ty Lue at that point. And once he took the job with the Phoenix Suns, then they were like, okay, now we can now let's move toward. I mean, what we had heard was that they were always planning. Ty was always the ahead of Monty in their estimation, but they hadn't. It's been a very slow and deliberate process. And what I keep being told is that was always the plan. They didn't want to rush into anything. From a PR standpoint, if they don't want it to seem like they're rushing into Ty Lue, then maybe it makes sense to wait until Monty gets a different job. I mean, it's all moot at this point because Ty's obviously not going to be their coach.
You can follow her on Twitter at Tania Ganguli, the LA Times beat reporter for the Los Angeles Lakers, in studio here on the Rich Eisen Show. Kirk Morrison filling in for Rich. But Tania, that's two guys now that kind of have walked away from the Lakers. Like, is this not the job that a lot of people in Laker land or within that Lakers organization still feel is a prized job in all of the NBA?
Well, I think that it's definitely lost a little bit of its shine in some ways. But the interesting thing about the Ty Lue situation is that Lue was really excited about this. Like he started his career with the Lakers. Like he wanted to do this, and the process. I think by the end of it, he was like perfectly happy to move on. And from the Lakers' perspective, they also felt like, as they were talking to him, I mean, there was a reason that they wouldn't go up from 3 years to 5 years. He wanted a 5-year contract. They were only offering 3, and the money wasn't really right. And they didn't feel like he was the long-term solution. So if you're looking for someone that's going to be your coach even beyond LeBron James, from their perspective, that's what they didn't feel like they had that here. And so I think, it broke down from both sides in that way.
With your NFL background, you've been a part of situations and following and covering teams that a head coach is hired, but he's also bringing this offensive coordinator or this defensive coordinator. When you think of the Lakers' job, what do you take from hearing that candidates are being forced to have lead assistants, in which the Lakers organization is saying you have to have, whether it's Jason Kidd as your lead assistant or Vogel has to be your lead assistant? It seems like the Lakers organization, from what I'm hearing, are forcing assistants on whoever the coach may be.
That was one of the problems. I mean, it wasn't, I think that it was a little overstated that it was the Lakers wanted Jason Kidd and Ty didn't, and that's what caused the breakdown, because the contract was a big deal too. But that was part of the problem. I mean, I have heard that before. I've heard that in the NFL. I've covered a few coaching searches in the NFL, and I remember when Bill O'Brien was hired by the Texans. It took a little while for that deal to get done, and part of that was that the Texans were interested in what his staff would look like, and they had some suggestions, and ultimately they let Bill make the decision himself. So I think that there's, in most negotiations, there's a flexibility. There's, okay, we really want you as the coach, and so we're going to give a little here, It doesn't sound like that is what happened here, that the Lakers weren't thinking, okay, we're going to give a little and make sure we get Ty Lue. They were they stuck firm with some of the things that they wanted to see.
LA Times Lakers beat writer Tania Ganguli joining the Rich Eisen Show. And so Ty Lue's out now, okay? So what's next for LeBron? Because there were the reports that LeBron is upset at what's going on and the way that the structure, I guess, the power structure in the Lakers organization is, that he doesn't really trust their plan going forward. So what does that do for the new head coach? Because obviously, if it's not Ty Lue, is he truly a LeBron guy if it's not a Juwan Howard or now Monty Williams, who had Laker or LeBron connections? Is it like a lose-lose for the next head coach?
It doesn't have to be, and I think that that's something that like LeBron and the next coach are going to have to get together and be on the same page about. But if you remember on the shop, one of the things that he talked about was that he came here after a conversation with Magic. Correct. And the plan was that they were going to do this together, and they were going to return the Lakers to Showtime together. And then Magic, I mean, that was part of why I got this sense of him feeling betrayed by what happened there. So, I mean, I'm sure it's, LeBron is probably doing a lot of thinking about like how he's going to proceed, because in order to, I mean, this is the last stretch of his career. And I'm not saying that once the Lakers contract is over, he's done, but it's the last stretch of his career. So how is he going to make the most of it, I think is probably on his mind right now.
But the new head coach is going to obviously have LeBron James to coach, but he's also going to inherit the young players as well. Brandon Ingram, Kyle Kuzma, Josh Hart, but even the most famous of them all, I think, is Lonzo Ball. And I know you wrote about Lonzo from his episode, or his appearance on LeBron's The Shop. What do we expect now from a guy like Lonzo? I know we focus on LeBron, but what about a guy like Lonzo who's had a lot go on this offseason as well?
Yeah, not just this offseason. It's been during the season. I mean, we wrote a story a few weeks ago where the FBI has been investigating the business partner that was in with his family.
Right.
They've been investigating him for months. And so for Lonzo, I wonder if this is going to help him to sort of have other people dealing with that stuff, to have himself removed. You know, he's suing this man, saying that he mishandled his funds and took about $2 million from him. And,
Right.
you know, he's sort of trying to extricate himself from this man that his father trusted so much, and from really his father's influence as much. He's trying to sort of take control of his own future a little bit. And, you know, that stuff absolutely affects. I mean, you know, like when stuff is going on in your personal life, these guys are human. Like, it's hard to not let it have any impact on what you're doing professionally. So I'm interested to see like how it affects Lonzo going forward.
You know, being a former professional athlete in the NFL, always knew that when free agency came, you want to go to an organization that seems stable, that seems that it's going to help my career.
Mm-hmm.
The Lakers go into this free agency period right now, and I'm not so sure I feel confident if I was an NBA free agent to walk into that Lakers organization and feel like they've got a plan in place for the betterment of my career. There's names that are being floated of this guy could join this guy can join the Lakers, but how does this hurt free agency when you look at the structure of the Los Angeles Lakers organization?
Yeah, I do think they're gonna have to convince free agents that they have stability.
Wait. The Lakers have to convince people now? Like, I thought it was the Lakers, the
Well,
brand.
no, it's been for the past several years. It's been like this. I mean, they have been struggling to get free agents to trust them for years now.
Wow.
You think all the way back to LaMarcus Aldridge wasn't interested. Kevin Durant didn't even take a meeting with them.
George, yeah.
And that's what was supposed. And that's what was supposed to change. And I remember. You know, I talked to somebody in the organization about this past summer's free agency,
Right.
and when Paul George didn't talk to them, there was a feeling of like, is this still happening? Is this going to happen again? And then LeBron came and everything was fine, or so they thought. So yeah, I think that. But you know, that's the thing. If they can let's say they can get Kawhi Leonard,
Right.
and suddenly they're again back in position. They've got 2 stars. They're back in position to be a really good team, and everything could change if they win.
Right.
Everything changes about the narrative. It doesn't matter as much that there was drama in the offseason, but they have to start winning.
LA Times Lakers beat writer Tania Ganguli joining the Rich Eisen show for a couple more minutes. And, you know, Tania, the one thing is that Magic Johnson walked away from the president of basketball operations. Now we know that the general manager is still in place and Rob Pelinka. Jeannie Buss is still the owner. Mm-hmm. But we're hearing that Linda Rambis and Kurt Rambis, they're almost running the team on a day-to-day. Like, what is the Lakers structure right now, in your opinion?
That's a complicated question to answer, I think, because first of all, Magic Johnson stepped down from his official role, but he's still in contact with Jeannie. She still listens to him. They had dinner last week, and Jeannie sort of played with it and put the breaking news like tag on her. She posted a photo of them and put breaking news on it to make fun of the fact that everyone was going to go nuts when they saw them together. But they are still talking, and she still very much trusts him. So I think Jeannie's style of management is that she listens to people that she trusts and people that are close to her. Linda's been somebody that's been with the organization for years and has been close to Jeannie for decades. So that's, I mean, the fact that she has a lot of power right now is not that surprising. And I think that it's, you know, they are letting Rob Pelinka run the search. He's sort of the official head of the coaching search. So, but you know, there aren't a lot of defined roles in terms of who's doing what. And that's part of what you were talking about earlier, why somebody needs to come out and talk about it.
Last question for you. In the NFL, which you've covered as well, the owner sometimes just hires guys. Hey, you're You take over this part. I'll keep my hands away from it. You handle the football side of it. Is Jeannie Buss, you think, right now hiring too many friends and just not hiring a basketball guy to just say, handle it, take care of it, I'm going to stay out of it?
Well, I think that that's what she was trying to do when she hired Magic and when she hired Rob Pelinka. What she was trying to do is to say, you guys handle the basketball. I'm just going to let you handle it.
Right.
It's again hard to answer without knowing exactly what's going on in there, who she's truly listening to right now. But she has generally, I mean, she's been the business face of the Lakers for years. Her dad trusted her to be the controlling owner of the team, and I think her plan since she'd started doing that was to allow other people to handle the basketball side of things. So it'll be interesting to see how she handles that going forward.
Very interesting to see as it's been a soap opera, a reality show right in front of us as the Lakers turn, as that we can call it, right? Tania, thank you so much. I appreciate you joining the show.
Me.
That's Tania Ganguli, the LA Times Lakers beat writer. You can also follow her on Twitter at Tania Ganguli. Thanks again, Tania.
Sure.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.